Greetings, my friends. It's been a little while since my last video. I have been ill. I have had some sort of virus. Anyway, I recently got a message from a sect member named Bradley Bain. And he asks, multiple questions. And I will attempt to answer these questions, if possible. Now, he begins with, all right, I just watched your 2 videos on killing God. I agree with most of your points in you mentioning Yahweh, but isn't that just a term made up by religious people? No one truly knows the name of that biblical God? Actually, what's called the Tetragrammaton, spelt YHWH, is in some sources considered the true name of God. All right, now I'm not a theologian. You'll have to go and speak to a theologian about that to verify it. But as far as I know, that's the closest to an actual name for this deity. Now, the reason why I emphasize the name Yahweh in my videos is it's a way of lessening the power of this supposedly omnipotent, omnipresent being, deity, if you will. Because by labeling something, anything, it kind of takes away some of the abstract, let's say the metaphysical, the mystery, and thus the power on a psychological level. See, Abrahamists like to just say God or Allah, simply meaning there are no others. But by referring to him by his name, see, he in a sense just becomes just another God. Where I am at now, I believe there could be a God, and it represents all the gods from a different emotion or purpose. Now, to me, that kind of sounds like Brahman in the Hindu tradition. And all the gods are aspects of Brahman. And I personally, I would include not only the gods from Hindu mythology, but also all the gods from Odin to Pan to Zeus and so on, all fall under this aspect of ultimate reality, if you will. Next question. However, the fact how one can become their own God, now that's the point I'm lost on. I see being a Satanist as doing what I want and embracing sin instead of opposing it. I don't see how anyone can label themselves as their own God. Now, you'll come across some who will make the claim that being their own God, by being their own God, they'll have godlike powers. That isn't where I'm coming from. To start with, to become your own God, you have to let go of Yahweh 100%. I mean, really let go of him. That's why I bring up the term, that's why I say, have you murdered him yet? But at the same time, I'm not saying let go of the notion of a deistic God, if you will. If you lean in that direction. A deistic God as in a prime mover, an indifferent deity that set everything into motion and basically stepped back. What I'm saying is, when you let go of that petty version that was drilled into you by your parents and the church, when you really let go and you realize there's no one pulling your strings, you can then fill that void in your heart, that place where God once sat, with, and this is important, you fill it with your highest ideal. Your highest ideal of yourself. That's important, but most people can't do that. For some, when they empty themselves of Yahweh, let's say, they'll fill it with for instance, a version of Satan. And I brought this up many times in the past. Politics is another one they fill it with. And that idea of an ideal utopian system of government, or people become very nihilistic. And if it is nihilism, you have to get over that feeling of hopelessness, see? Nihilism basically is the idea there is no meaning, you can't find any meaning, oh, woe is me, why even bother living this life? I don't recommend that philosophy whatsoever. I am no nihilist. You need to find meaning for your existence. You find your own personal meaning, all right? And that could be in that God-shaped hole then. Your personal meaning for existence. See, the objective of being your own God is to have nothing above you in your, and this is important, your subjective universe. Not like everyone, you have to deal with an authority figure from time to time, like your boss or the cops or whatever. But they're not a part of your personal universe. They're a part of this conscious reality we're all moving around in. You may not feel like a god when you deal with them, but they're not a part of your personal universe unless you make them a part, unless you invite them in a sense. All right, so Bradley continues. So I agree that the Christian philosophy is bullshit. However, I personally think the biblical God can teach great wisdom, because through his actions it shows inevitable power. The devil never got that much screen time. So why can't we see God as the heads of a coin, Yahweh and Satan on both sides of a coin? Like in the story of Job, why couldn't Satan in God's deal be between his split personality of merciful and him being a tyrant? Why assume the devil and God are separate? To begin with, the Bible is mythology. And mythology is like poetry or a song. It can convey different messages to different people. It's like art. It speaks the language of the soul, the subconscious. An example would be the holy book, or one of the holy books of the Hindus, the Bhagavad Gita. It's about a great battle that takes place in the human heart. Now, understanding mythology, you understand that all mythology, though, takes place in the human heart, or the subconscious, if you will. In the mythology that's emphasized in Western society, Abrahamist mythology, that is, lacks something. And I've brought this up before many, many times. It lacks a shadow side. Or if there is a shadow side, it's highly vilified. It is to be shunned. in the Abrahamist case, it's all about the light. My argument's been, and it continues to be, that the Satan aspect has been ignored for way too long, thus making the human animal, the human being here in Western society, incomplete. You're right. These are two aspects of who you are. But with the Abrahamists, Yahweh isn't on one side of the coin, he's on both sides. Get it? And here's something else if you haven't noticed. Yahweh in the Old Testament, he can be a complete prick. He doesn't need a counter, if you will. He doesn't need a shadow side. Just ask the Gnostics, all right? Well, Bradley, I hope that answers your questions. Now, becoming your own God is a very personal journey. It is a journey you can only take on your own because it takes place in the deeper reaches of your subconscious, somewhere no one else can go. And when you have reached that destination, truly reach that destination, you'll know it.